So if you're asking me how many people ask me when looking for a property here, if they have a concern for the rising ocean level, sea level, I would have to say not as many as people might think. In fact, primarily about 25% of people even ask me about flood zones and the coastal construction line. Of those 25%, maybe 10 to 25% of them will actually ask me about rising sea levels. If I was asked why so many people it's not of great concern to them, I'd say it's probably because we look at when we purchase a property in years of how long are we going to own it. Maybe we're going to own it for 5 years. Unlike, properties of the past, generations would own a property. Now we don't. We turn them over so rapidly. Also, we look at it in terms of a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage. What's going to change in 15 to 30 years? Not much. So that becomes something that's not our concern. It's the next generation that has that concern, and it's not our immediate purchase concern. One of the recommendations I make is to consult with their insurance, and their insurance will look at the property and go over any risk assessment for that particular property. And one of the recommendations I also make is a lot of times we have cash buyers, and cash buyers don't necessarily get insurance or they'll self-insure because it's only when they have a lender that it's required. I always recommend that they buy that insurance. And furthermore, even properties that don't require insurance through the lender, I always recommend that they buy flood insurance because it is so affordable when it's not required. I think a lot of the reason why homeowners don't necessarily talk about the rising sea level is because still in society today it's almost a political issue, so they don't know whether or not what side they're on. But there is science, there are facts behind it. Since 1900 we've had a rising sea of 8 inches till now. That may not seem like a lot, but looking forward it's exponential. We're supposed to rise, I think, 1 inch every 3 years. So over the next 30 years we're going to rise another foot. And they anticipate by the year 2100 the sea will rise 3 feet. Many homeowners only think that this affects those living on the coastline, when in fact those that live on the river are also going to be affected because that water drains into the ocean, and if the ocean's rising, then they're going to rise along their shoreline as well. What people need to realize is it's not just those that are living on the water that are affected, not just the ocean front, not just the river front, but even people that are inland on coastal areas. If the ocean rises and the river rises, we're going to have a raised water table. And with a raised water table, when we have extended periods of rain, there's not going to be as many places for that water to drain and saturate in a soil that's already got such a high water level in it. So we could see standing water in places we otherwise wouldn't have seen for many years prior.